The rain hammered the stained glass windows of the old boardroom like 1,000 accusatory fists, but it was the whisper of a single envelope sliding across the mahogany desk that shattered me. I, Elias Hawthorne, 34 and freshly orphaned, stared at it. My name scrawled in her elegant cursive, the one she'd practiced for our wedding invitations. "For when you're ready," it read on the outside, tucked beneath a stack of inheritance papers that screamed of my parents' empire. Hawthorne Footwear, $150 million in polished leather and forgotten dreams. Ready? For what? Running a company I'd never wanted. Or the gut-wrenching truth that my wife of 8 years had been unraveling our life from the inside. The funeral had been 2 days ago. A blur of black umbrellas and hollow condolences under the relentless September downpour. My parents, Victor and Elena Hawthorne, had built their shoe dynasty from a single cobbler's shop in Queens, turning it into a global brand that shot celebrities and soccer moms alike. They died in a car crash on the Taconic Parkway. Ironic, really, since Dad always preached about steady footing in life's twists. The will was straightforward. I got everything. Not my golden boy brother, who'd vanished to Bali 5 years back chasing enlightenment, but me, the quiet accountant who'd married for love, not legacy. "You're the steady one, Elias," Mom had said once, her hands calloused from sketching heels. Steady? God, what a joke. I crumpled the envelope in my fist, the paper crackling like dry bones. Sarah, my Sarah, with her laugh like wind chimes and eyes that crinkled when she teased me about my mismatched socks, had handed it to the executor that morning. "He'll need this," she'd murmured, her voice thick with what I'd mistaken for grief. We'd clung to each other at the graveside, her head on my shoulder, whispering promises of forever amid the scent of wet earth and lilies. But now, alone in this cavernous office on the 42nd floor of Hawthorne Tower, with the city skyline mocking me through sheets of rain, I tore it open. The letter unfolded like a traitor's flag. Pages of confessions, timestamps, bank transfers. My heart thudded, a dull hammer against my ribs, as I scanned the first line. "Elias, by the time you read this, I'll be gone. I'm sorry, but I can't pretend anymore." Pretend? The word lodged in my throat, bitter as bile. We'd met at a charity gala 7 years ago. She, a rising graphic designer with sketches of avant-garde sneakers that caught Dad's eye. Me, the dutiful son nursing a scotch and dodging small talk. Our first date was at a hole-in-the-wall Italian place in the village, where she stole my garlic bread and confessed her fear of heights. "You're my anchor," she'd said, tracing my palm with her finger. Anchor. The irony clawed deeper now. I sank into the leather chair, Dad's chair, worn smooth from decades of decisions, and forced myself to read on. Sarah detailed it all, her words a scalpel dissecting our marriage. "It started small," she wrote, 2 years into our honeymoon phase. The company was booming, but the pressure. God, the pressure. Late nights at the office for me. Endless prototypes for her freelance gigs that Hawthorne occasionally subcontracted. "You were so buried in numbers, Elias, and I was drowning in silence." Then came Marcus, the venture capitalist with a penthouse view and a smile that promised escape. Their first meeting was innocent, a pitch for expanding into athleisure lines. But drinks followed, then dinners, then his hand on her knee under a restaurant table, while I balanced spreadsheets at home. My vision blurred, hot tears mixing with the chill of betrayal. I remembered those nights. Coming home to her asleep on the couch, fairy lights strung across our Brooklyn brownstone, takeout containers cold on the counter. I'd kiss her forehead, whisper how much I loved her wild spirit, and collapse into bed, exhausted but grateful. Grateful for the way she'd push me to loosen up, dragging me to rooftop parties where I'd sip one beer and watch her dance like the world was hers. Trust was our foundation, or so I'd thought. We'd talked kids once, 2, maybe 3, with her curls and my steady gaze. A house upstate, near the vineyard Mom loved. Dreams fragile as tissue paper. The letter grew colder, more clinical. Sarah admitted to siphoning funds, $2.3 million, funneled through shell accounts she'd set up under the guise of design consulting. Marcus had the connections. She had the access codes I'd shared in a flush of marital openness. "It was for us at first," she wrote. "To start fresh, away from the Hawthorne shadow. But then it became his." His. The word ignited a fire in my chest. rage twisting with the raw ache of loss. I slammed the desk, papers scattering like fallen leaves, stock reports, patent filings, a photo of us at our wedding, her veil tangled in the wind off the Hudson. Footsteps echoed in the hall, pulling me from the abyss. The door creaked open, and there was Lena, my parents' longtime assistant, her silver hair pinned in a no-nonsense bun, eyes red-rimmed from the funeral. "Mr. Hawthorne? Elias? You all right in here?" She was 60-something, sharp as the stilettos she designed prototypes for, the one who'd mothered me when Elena was traveling. I thrust the letter at her, words choking out in fragments. "Sarah, she. How did I not see?" Lena scanned the pages, her face hardening like cured leather. She didn't flinch, just folded the letter with deliberate care and sat across from me. The rain a relentless drumbeat outside. "Oh honey. I suspected. The late calls, the client meetings that stretched into weekends. But you were so in love, blind to the cracks." Blind. The accusation stung, but she was right. I'd ignored the signs. The new designer bag she couldn't afford, the way her phone buzzed incessantly and she'd angle it away, laughing it off as work stress. Once, I'd found a receipt for a hotel in Midtown, and she'd spun it into a story about crashing after a deadline, her arms around me that night tighter than usual. "I trust you," I'd said, because saying otherwise would crack the world we'd built. Trust wasn't just given. It was my armor against the chaos of losing my parents young, against the brother who'd bailed when Dad needed him most. Lena leaned forward, her voice a gravelly anchor. "What now?" "The board's waiting downstairs, investors sniffing blood in the water. And the police, embezzlement like this, it's federal." Police. The word hung heavy, conjuring handcuffs and headlines. Hawthorne heir's wife flees with fortune. But beneath the fury, a deeper wound festered, the not knowing. Had our laughs been lies? The quiet Sundays in bed, her head on my chest as we planned lazy brunches. Had she been plotting then, her fingers tracing escape routes on my skin? I stood, pacing the office, the carpet muffling my steps like buried secrets. Suspense coiled in my gut as I rifled through Dad's desk drawers. Old ledgers, a half-smoked cigar, and then a USB drive taped beneath the blotter. Heart pounding, I plugged it into the ancient computer, the screen flickering to life with encrypted files. Sarah's work? No, logs of transfers, flagged anomalies Lena must have compiled but never shared. Waiting for me to step up. The last entry. A wire to an offshore account in her name. Time-stamped yesterday, hours after the funeral. She'd waited until the dirt was fresh on the graves. The door burst open again. This time, it was Detective Ruiz, badge glinting under the fluorescence, his partner a shadow behind. "Mr. Hawthorne, we need to talk. Your wife skipped town. Private jet to Zurich, courtesy of your company's accounts." Zurich. Marcus's playground, I'd learn later, his family roots tangled in Swiss banks. The room spun, betrayal's vertigo pulling me under. I collapsed into the chair, the letter fluttering to the floor like a white flag of surrender. In that moment, as Ruiz droned about warrants and recovery odds, the pain crystallized, not just the theft of money, but of us. The trust I'd poured into Sarah like fine wine, vintage and irreplaceable, now soured to vinegar. Heartbreak wasn't a storm. It was the quiet erosion, wave by wave, until the shore gave way. I'd loved her fiercely, flaws and all, her impulsiveness that sparked my caution, her dreams that made mine seem possible. But she'd chosen flight over fight, leaving me to inherit not just shoes, but the hollow echo of what-ifs. By dawn the rain had eased to a drizzle, the city awakening to another gray Monday. I signed the board's emergency resolutions, my hand steady despite the tremor in my soul. Lena stayed, brewing coffee strong as resolve, her presence a lifeline. "You're a Hawthorne," she said softly. "We mend what's broken." Mend. Could I? The company, yes. Audits, restructures, a phoenix from embezzled ashes. But the man who'd believed in forever? That Elias lay fractured, piecing together a new soul from the ruins. As the sun pierced the clouds, gilding the skyline in reluctant gold, I burned the letter in the executive fireplace, a relic Dad kept for dramatic flair. Flames devoured her words, but not the scar. Trust once shattered, reform jagged. Sarah's betrayal wasn't just theft. It was the theft of my unscarred heart. And in the quiet that followed, amid the acrid smoke, I vowed to walk forward, barefoot if I had to, into a world where love demanded vigilance, not blindness. The empire endured, but I was remade, one painful step at a time.